Welcome! Records Roundup turns 80 today, and as a sort of special edition, and also mainly because I've suddenly collected a lot of singles, mostly, by this artist, I thought it's been a while since there was last a special edition of Records Roundup that just focused on one artist. So today's the day, and of course, as you know, this one is the Matt Berry special. So who is Matt Berry and why am I dedicating a Records Roundup to him? Matt Berry is first and foremost known in this country and probably around the world for the most part as a comedy actor. He's been in all sorts of stuff. What We Do in the Shadows, Toast of London, Snuffbox, I think he was in The Mighty Boosh, The IT Crowd of course, Shooting Stars, House of Fools. I know I'm forgetting quite a few others as well. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Some of these I've seen and I really love, I'm a fan of, and others I've either seen bits of or I've never seen before. But regardless, Matt Berry, very funny guy, very talented and unique comedy actor. But I'm more of a fan of his music, which is a lot more serious for the most part. I've been collecting him predominantly on vinyl for the last 3 years or so. I've got all his albums on LP except for one that I've got on cassette, so I am a completist with his albums, and I decided that I wanted to be complete on his singles as well, because when I was looking at his Discogs database entry, I saw that his singles, 7 and 12 inch singles I'm referring to, he did release a cassette single some years ago that I think was a Rough Trade exclusive, but that looks to be very rare, so you won't see that in this video. But I figured with them being easily available and the majority of them, with a couple of exceptions, being reasonably priced as well, I would supplement my Matt Berry album collection and box set because I've got his brilliant Gather Up LP set, which I got for a brilliant price, 50% off a couple of years or more back from Acid Jazz. I'm going to show you all the singles, but I will start with his latest album because that is really the big ticket item. I pre-ordered that back in September last year, so it's taken a while to come out, but it was out in January and I can't wait to hear it, and here it is. Now I've already opened it because this is take 2 of this video. My phone decided to do its occasional trick of making me think it was recording when it wasn't really. So fortunately I didn't get too far before I realised. This is the Acid Jazz store exclusive of Matt Berry's Heard Noises, and it's on psychedelic swirl colour vinyl, so let's get it out and have a proper look. Berry's music, how can I describe it? It's quite eclectic really, and as I say, for the most part it's sort of serious. You know, he's a proper legitimate serious musician and songwriter and singer. You kind of think of him and all these really funny roles in TV over the years, and you'd expect him just to be releasing kind of comedic stuff. And although I would say the Television Themes album that came out some years ago is quite tongue-in-cheek and maybe could be considered more of a funny, quirky novelty than a proper album, I love that album and it really tickles a nostalgia spot for me. But going back to Heard Noises, there's the inner. It's got the collaborators on the album there, including Kitty Liv down there on the bottom. She features on the lead single, I Got a Limit, but we'll talk more about that later on. And yes, really nice psychedelic swirl there, lots of colours really. I don't need to stand here and try and describe it to you. Maybe looking a little bit dark on screen, certainly as I stand behind it. It's got almost a sort of rustic psychedelic look to it, which would be quite appropriate given some of Matt Berry's previous work, such as Witch Hazel and Kill the Wolf. It's classed as psychedelic swirl. It's the exclusive addition to the Acid Jazz web store. That's the label he's been on pretty much nearly all his music career. And I can't wait to get listening to this. The latest album from Matt Berry, Heard Noises. Right then, onto the singles. So it's all singles now. Theoretically, this will be a much quicker Records Roundup to get through, as you can't really say an awful lot about a single. But the first one I'll show you is one that I picked up from Flashback Records. This one was one of the more expensive ones. By the way, you're not going to see Matt Berry's entire singles discography shown here. I've not managed to pick up them all. As I say, there's a single that came out, I don't know, well over a decade ago, that I don't know where that's going to be available. There's another 7-inch that was a little bit highly priced for me on Discogs, and though I didn't really check on eBay or anywhere else, it's something I'll aim to get if I can find it a little bit cheaper. And there's one more single that I have ordered, I have bought from Discogs, but it hasn't turned up yet, but I will show that just in the next Records Roundup, number 81. Right then, back to this one, and it is a companion single for the Music for Insomniacs experimental instrumental album. This is Music for Insomniacs Part 4. As you can see, brand new and sealed. I think this was a Record Store Day issue from, what year? It says on screen, but I think it says 2014. As all of these are, it's on acid jazz. It's not coloured vinyl, and I will show you some of the 7-inch singles, the actual discs themselves, but as this one's still sealed, I'll move fairly swiftly on from this. The B-side for this is Lost Contact. I don't know if Part 4 is actually on the album, because the album is just 2 long tracks, one on each side. So theoretically this should be an exclusive track, not released anywhere else, but it could be a segment of either parts 1 or 2. I don't honestly know. But Music for Insomniacs Part 4. Thank you Flashback for that. And then on to some Discogs purchases, the ones that have come already. This one is actually a split single. It's not just by Matt Berry. It's by Matt Berry on side A and the Bluetones singer Mark Morris, who is a longtime friend and collaborator of Matt's, on side B. And what they've done here, and once again I think this is a Record Store Day single from 2015, so the year after the last one. Matt Berry has covered a Mark Morris track. Mark Morris on side B, or no, side double A actually, it's classed as a double A side, has covered a Berry song. So Matt Berry does This Is the Lie and That's the Truth. I don't know if that's Bluetones or specifically Mark Morris, because I know he has released some solo work over the years. Side B, Mark Morris's cover of Berry's October Sun. As this one is unsealed, we'll have a little look, but it's just black vinyl. Got that nice Acid Jazz Company label on it. Very nice indeed. And the company sleeve as well. Pleased to get that. The prices for these, Music for Insomniacs Part 4, that was about £30, which is really a bit more than what I want to pay for a single, but it would feel like a hole in the collection if I hadn't have got it. This one and I think the next one were both from the same seller, and they were about £30 all in, so you could call it about £15 each, which I think is pretty good. Also from Discogs is Beatmaker. This one features Emma Noble. We can see Matt Berry on the back sleeve there. Emma Noble, I had no idea who she was. She's got one of those names that sounds familiar. She's not really done anything in the music industry apart from this. She's actually a famous designer. Beatmaker is a cover of an old Swedish pop song from the early 70s, and the instrumental version of Beatmaker is on the B-side. I don't believe I've heard this before because it doesn't feature on an album. I'm doubting myself now. I'm wondering if it features on Blue Elephant, but I don't think it does. Regardless, I'll show you the disc as it's already open. There we are. Not much to really say about these, but it's just nice to get singles. I've been a singles guy since I was a teenager, really, when I got my first CD player in 1995, mainly because I was still at school and getting pocket money and or my paper round money. That's paper route for all you Yanks out there. CD singles are obviously a lot cheaper than albums, and while I collected albums of the acts I really loved, such as New Order, Pet Shop Boys, Beatles, just stuff that I heard on the radio and on TV, I would always get the CD single rather than wait for the album to come out and probably hear tracks that I wasn't as bothered about. But yeah, I do like a 7-inch single, certainly. That was Matt Berry featuring Emma Noble, Beatmaker. Right then, 2 male openings to do. This one from a Discogs seller. I got a dispatch notice about 3 days ago, so I was hoping, even though there was no tracking to confirm it, I was hoping that this one would be coming today. I think this one was pretty reasonably priced, including postage, possibly between £15 and £20. And this is one, I'd not seen it anywhere before until I started looking on Berry's Discogs database page. And it is this one, it's the Kill the Wolf EP. So a 4-track EP, or 7-inch single. Medicine, a track I'm very familiar with, one of the best on the album, because this is in promotion of the Kill the Wolf album. So that album originally came out early 2010s, I think, and then it got a vinyl reissue, and this EP got a vinyl reissue. It had not previously come out on vinyl, I think it was just out on CD and digital previously. Tracks are Medicine and An Electric Hero on side A, and On a High and You Can Whistle are side double A, and I believe it's just Medicine that appears on the Kill the Wolf album, which you can see advertised there. I don't think the other 3 tracks do. They might be on the Gather Up box set that I've got. In fact, I would say that's a strong possibility, but it's been a while since I've listened to that set, and I wanted the singles anyway, as a completist would. Once again, I think it's just black vinyl, this. Got a nice centre label there. So I had no idea there was a standalone EP released in conjunction with or in promotion for the Kill the Wolf album, but it got a reissue around the same time the LP did, and I'm very happy to have found this, as I didn't even know it existed. Kill the Wolf EP. Last mail opening to do. There's 3 singles in here. As you can see, it's a 12-inch size mailer. So I will give you the spoiler. There is a 12-inch single in here, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, please anyone, but I think it's the only 12-inch single Matt Berry has released so far. Everything else he's released has come out on 7-inch. And then there's that cassette single that I mentioned a couple of times earlier. This is from the Acid Jazz store. So I ordered these after I'd pre-ordered the Heard Noises album. We've got a sticky invoice there. That's nice. The 2 7-inch singles, because yes, there's 3 records in here, have come in a separate mailer. I'll show the 12-inch one first. This is the one I'm clutching, and it's Like Stone, the Sean Ono Lennon remixes. 12-inch single, Summer Sun and Like Stone, which are both tracks off the Blue Elephant album, I think. I'm a bit rusty on what goes where really, but I'm pretty certain that the original versions of these tracks were off his previous studio album, although technically his previous studio album was the collaboration with KPM, but more on that in a moment. But his last proper album, Blue Elephant, I've not heard the Sean Ono Lennon remixes before. This is just black vinyl to the best of my knowledge, so I'm just going to leave it sealed so that we can get this video wrapped up a bit quicker. It'll be amazing that I've actually managed to release something in the Records Roundup vein that's gone well under half an hour. Pleased to have that. It was, by the way, £11. In fact, I think all 3 of these singles were £11, or one might have been 12. So basically, they're around the same price, even though this is a 12-inch, and the total price was around 35-ish, something like that. Finally, we'll move on to the 2 other 7-inches. And here is what doesn't look like a Matt Berry single, but I promise you it is. Top Brass, the KPM and Matt Berry collaboration. I got the album that this is off. That was his last album technically, but I don't know if he counts it as a proper studio album, but really good. I do like library music and sort of what sounds like stuff that you would have heard in the background on television and things like that. So Top Brass, one of the standout tracks on the album. And the B-side is the Bare Essentials mix, which I don't believe I've heard before. This is unsealed, so I will show you. I like the KPM record label, centre label there. It is technically still Acid Jazz, but it's a KPM collaboration. Very minimal, but works for me. Delighted to have the 7-inch of Top Brass. And finally, we kind of come full circle because I mentioned the lead single from the new album, Heard Noises. And I can show it you right now. It is I Got a Limit by Matt Berry featuring Kitty Liv. So I didn't really know who Kitty Liv was. She's a singer. I think she's from a relatively successful musician family. There might be a little bit of information about her on screen, and this came out, I think, November or December last year. I didn't buy it or pre-order it at the time because I wasn't intending on collecting Matt Berry singles, but then in the new year I changed my mind and it was still the same price. The B-side is Summer Sun again, but this time it's the David Arnold remix, and another acid jazz centric centre label, but a nice tinge of green there. Lovely stuff. Just really collectible items, these, and it's good music, so what's not to love? I love Matt Berry's albums. If his singles were all really expensive and rare, then no, I probably wouldn't have bothered, but the majority of them, and I've got the majority here today as you've seen, with a couple of exceptions, I figured why not. And of course we started out with the Heard Noises album, but to round us off today for Records Roundup 80, Matt Berry, Kitty Live, I Got a Limit. And that is Records Roundup number 80, the Matt Berry special, done and dusted. Please go and check out Matt Berry. He's on all the usual platforms, digitally, YouTube, whatever streaming service that you prefer to use. Bandcamp is also on, and of course all his stuff can be bought physically, or the majority of his stuff, because there is certain deleted things now, but the majority of his work you can still get it at the Acid Jazz web store. Thank you all for watching. Special thanks go to my subscribers and patrons. I'm going to go now and whatever else but listen to Mr. Matt Berry. Probably start with his new album. Then again, I might not. I might just listen to all those singles, because you can get through half a dozen singles or more in a morning, really. So probably listen to the singles first. Finish off with his new album, which I'm sure is going to be just as good as all his previous work. So I'm going to go and do that. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next time for my next Records Roundup and record collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!